Bold predictions to wrap up our show for the 2025 college football season. Give me your first bold prediction.
I kind of spoiled it earlier. I think Lincoln Riley gets fired.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Lincoln Riley gets fired. I think USC says I can't put up with mediocrity anymore. We cannot keep going 6-6. Listen, we're in the Big Ten now. They didn't bring us here for no reason. This ain't going to get the job done. Again, I like some of the moves they made in the portal. Their defense still gives me pause. They downgraded at quarterback. They lost their best offensive playmaker. I think USC just says, screw it, screw the buyout, whatever. We're not going to deal with this anymore. I think Southern Cal hires a different coach in the offseason. I don't know who, but would it surprise you? Would it surprise you if it was a guy like Kenny Dillingham?
He ain't leaving.
Dude, it's USC. You have to pick up the phone.
You have to pick up the phone, but this guy grew up going to Sun Devil Stadium.
I know.
His dream was to see that program get to prominence. He ain't leaving. That's his dream job. And I think Arizona State, if they're smart, will just pay him whatever the heck it takes. Whatever it takes. He'll be an $8 million a year head coach.
I thought that because they got a lot of losable games on the schedule. I thought if Alabama was like an 8-4 team, that DeBoer would also get the can, but I have them winning 10 games, so I don't think that's going to happen. I think if Riley and DeBoer both got fired, USC's first phone call would be DeBoer. And I think he would take that job, go back out west, situation where there's a lot less pressure, and he would have the type of success he's had at previous stops. I think Alabama sometimes can just crush you, and I think he would be better suited for USC. But regardless, I don't think it'll be Lincoln next year.
Who the heck? Like, there's a reason that DeBoer was like their fourth choice. We knew that. Like,
right.
It takes a special person to be willing to follow in the footsteps of Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most pressure-filled job, maybe in the history of college football. Who's going to take over after Nick Saban retires? Unbelievable.
It's not easy.
And I think they're going to be good this year. I have them at 11-1. Yeah.
It's year 2 in this system. Like, he's got his guys, for what it's worth, like, he inherited Jalen Milroe, and I like Milroe, but he's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, and he's also inherited Ty Simpson, but now it's like, it's his team more so this year than last year. So it wouldn't be surprising if they were to go 11-1.
That was actually one of my bold predictions. Is Alabama's pretty back this year. 11-1, wins at Georgia and against South Carolina. Like Bama's.
But is that bold? Like, they're the number 8 team in the country in the preseason. Like, it's Alabama.
No, I'll tell you what is bold though. Here's my first big boy bold prediction. All of the playoffs top 4 seeds come in undefeated.
Wow, that is.
Penn State runs the table, Big Ten champs. Yeah. Penn State runs the table, Big Ten champs. Texas runs the table, SEC champs. You get a table run out of Clemson in the ACC champs, and Notre Dame at 12-0. The top 4 seeds all come in unblemished. That's bold. Josh Pate would give that a 9.95 on the boldness scale.
Yeah, that it feels like the days of that. We saw that so often with the 4-team playoff, but last year, I mean, you had like 2-loss ASU as a 4 seed and all these. Last year was,
but that was because wacky. Because of the
exactly of the bye system. And I think there's less parity this year than there was last year. I think this year it's so heavy at the top. I mean, you look at the AP poll that just came out, like the teams that are in the top 12 of that are like all 12 of our playoff teams plus UNLV.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to come out of nowhere. That's a given. Nobody thought SMU and Indiana would be in the playoffs last year.
Or Arizona State.
So I think anything could happen. But I can see that because there's so much more parity, or so much less parity, I should say. I just feel like the grind of the SEC is so challenging. I don't see somebody running the table there.
That's completely fair. And the more and more you think about it, the harder and harder it sounds. So I'm just going to ride it. That's my boldest prediction. It doesn't get much bolder, but give me a couple more and I'll give you a couple more and we'll get out of here.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. Okay, let me think. I do think if I can just give a peek into my playoff predictions, I actually think that Texas goes on a bit of a revenge tour. I have them beating Arizona State handily instead of almost losing like they did last year, even though that game is in Tempe. Then I think they beat Ohio State in a rematch. And I know maybe on the surface, everybody was like, of course he has Ohio State as the one. He probably has them repeating. No siree. I think they lose to Texas in that game. I think they meet up with Penn State, who beats Notre Dame and gets revenge on them for last year in a semifinal, and then Penn State wins that game. I got Clemson kind of working through the bottom half of that and getting to a Penn State Clemson championship game. That's not a very bold prediction because they're the 2-5 teams in the AP poll, or 2-9 maybe, or 2-4. I can't really remember what it is. But if you're going to put me on the spot, I'll say the bold prediction is that Penn State winds up playing for a national championship for the first time under James Franklin.
Wow.
But they lose.
Oh,
then I got Clemson as my national champ in 2025.
Wow. There you go. Let me pull out mine real quick. We were just oohing and awing over some of the matchups. You're going to get an LSU win over UNLV, gives you a week 1 rematch between LSU and Clemson. And it's funny how, say Clemson wins that game, which I think they would, it would begin and end exactly the same for LSU. A defeat at the hands of Dabo.
I would not be able to sleep at night.
Which is crazy. And then you got Arizona State and Oregon in the first round in Eugene. Bring me back to the Pac-12. It's beautiful. I can already hear Chris Fowler. It's a downfield shot to Ayuk. Up on base. They won't get him.
Yeah, shout out Jaden Daniels.
And then on top of it, so say Arizona State wins that game, they get Texas, and we get to run back the 2024 Cotton Bowl. Arizona State, Texas in the playoffs for the second year in a row would go crazy. Ohio State beats Georgia Tech, so you get Ohio State, Notre Dame, a national championship rematch in the quarters. And then say Alabama beats South Carolina. Who doesn't want to see Alabama, Penn State?
Yep. I mean, you got heavyweight fights across the board. That's the bright side of the 12-team playoff is like, and now under this new format, there's no more Boise State in the semis and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be nuts.
With this, I like this layout better because we're trimming the fat in round 1, respectfully.
Yeah.
That's
a good way of putting it.
I love my ACC. I love the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I think they're going to have a great year until they go to Columbus.
And it's a wake-up call.
Yeah, and we might see Kevin Jennings. I'll never forget. You could see it running down his leg in the whiteout at Penn State. Poor guy threw 2 pick sixes off the rip.
I forgot that it was 2 until I went back earlier today, and I was like, what happened in that Penn State SMU game again? And I was like, oh my God, it was 28-0 at halftime, and he threw 2 pick sixes.
Yeah.
That's insanity. So yeah, that might happen again. I don't think that bad, but we saw what Ohio State did last year in their home playoff game against Tennessee. Like, you just don't want to run into these buzzsaws in the first round. I'm interested to see what it looks like the carryover from round 1 to round 2, because all the lower seeded teams won in the quarterfinals last year. I don't think that happens again.
I couldn't agree with you more. All right, my last bold prediction. It's really not all that bold. It's kind of a 3-parter. Lenora Sellers hoops, but he shows that he's much more of a dual threat guy. Everyone thinks of him as this dominant runner. I think we're going to see more of his downfield passing ability this year to top off the run and really show that he's an elite high-level quarterback. I think, as a bold prediction, Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. I don't know if it's going to show in wins, losses, but he is going to ball out. We're going to talk about Austin Simmons going into next year, which is his junior year, as a Heisman contender in the preseason. I think that's how good
anything's possible.
I think that Austin Simmons is going to be that guy down in Oxford. And then I think the same can be said about Dante Moore at Oregon.
Yeah,
Dan Lanning,
he's talented, man.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to look a little different for the Ducks this year. They're going to have to trust their defense a little bit more while he gets his footing. Maybe run the rock a little bit. Like, you're not going to see them drop 45 on your head like they did with Dylan Gabriel. But I think we're going to be saying similar things about Dante Moore in the near future, the years to come, because I think that he's a part of this youth wave in college football at the quarterback spot.
Yeah,
those are the bold predictions.
These kids are getting more talented. I mean, Jeremiah Smith.
Let's just enjoy some. Let's conclude the show by enjoying some of this man. My preseason Heisman Trophy winner in 2025. Look at that. Underthrown by Will Howard. He has to come back to it.
No, it was hit him in stride, and it resulted in a ring, which is about as good as you want. It was a heck of a season, obviously. All I can say is there's a reason why when
Jack Sawyer.
Captain Jack, when the media told Ryan Day that Jeremiah Smith had committed to Ohio State, because a lot of people don't remember, he was this close to flipping to Miami. When Day was giving a press conference and the media told him he had verbally committed,
my God, Cam Ward almost won the Heisman with Jeremiah. Imagine that, bro.
Dude, that would have been nuts. Like
Ryan Day might have won the
fell to his knees. But they couldn't stop a nosebleed.
No, they could have made Jeremiah Smith go play safety as well.
Like he is, when I look at him, I think he's the closest thing to Julio Jones since Julio Jones. And I think Julio is the best receiver I ever watched at the collegiate level. I also think Amari Cooper and Marvin Harrison Jr. are in that conversation. But I said going into last year, Smith would be the best receiver in this long lineage of Ohio State wide receivers. After 1 year, that already looks like the case. And he still's got 2 years left. It's nuts. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the rock. Like, the kid's just ridiculous.
He's a beast.